All right, good afternoon and welcome into Sports Talk at the stadium this afternoon from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. As you can see, fans have long gone from Williams-Brice Stadium as the Gamecocks lose this afternoon 48-7 to the Georgia Bulldogs in a game that was highly anticipated by Gamecock coach Shane Beamer and the Gamecock fans. The thought was the Gamecocks could perhaps play extremely well and give the top-ranked defending national champion Bulldogs a battle here this afternoon in front of over 78,000 fans at Williams-Brice Stadium. But that wasn't to be the case. Georgia jumped on the Gamecocks right from the get, and they never let up. They scored on their opening possession. South Carolina could get nothing going on its opening possession. Spencer Rattler threw an interception. Georgia took it back down for a score, and the Bulldogs were off and running from there. It was 24-0 at halftime. It grew to 48-0, and the Gamecocks knocked in a touchdown late in the ball game in the final minute, the only touchdown that Georgia has given up this season. So it was a disappointing day all the way around for South Carolina. Georgia had over 500 yards of offense. Quarterback Stetson Bennett was outstanding, as he proved to be last year. He seems to be a quarterback who's in complete command, complete control of his offense, knows what he wants to do with the football, whether it's in the air or running the offense on the ground. Even when he takes off as a runner, he's very effective. He had a nice long touchdown run today for Georgia. And the Bulldogs just have an array of weapons on the offense. And even though they lost so many players on defense, they're still very athletic and still very fast. But the big difference here, once again, and something South Carolina has faced now the last two games in the SEC, on the offensive line of scrimmage, Georgia's offensive line were road graders. They just knocked USC's defensive line back off the line of scrimmage and opened up running room for their running backs and protected Stetson Bennett. Now, they didn't run it for a whole bunch of yards, but they ran it at will when they wanted to. And, of course, they used the short passing game quite a bit to have South Carolina running back and forth on defense. And they used the little toss behind the line of scrimmage, which goes down as a pass, but it's like an extended handoff. They use that quite effectively as well. Their tight end Bowers is a very special player. He scored 3 touchdowns today, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground, and South Carolina had no defensive answer for him. Now, granted, the Gamecocks were dealing with injuries on the defensive side. They were without 5 starters today. I think you probably are aware of who those guys are. They also were without Corey Rucker and Jalen Nichols on the offensive side. So they're a beat-up football team. You lose 7 starters and you're playing an SEC team the quality of Georgia, it's going to be difficult for you. Even so, Shane Beamer had said during the week that he felt like they had the depth and the type of players who could step up and play with Georgia and make this a competitive game. But it was not, and at no point in the game did it seem like it was going to be competitive. And the first thing Beamer did in his post-game press conference was credit Georgia for a well-played game and also apologize to the Gamecock fans in the crowd of 78,000 who came out early and were very supportive, and the Gamecock team just did not deliver the way they had been for most of Beamer's 16 games at South Carolina. He's now 8-8 in his career at USC, and this is really about the first time that they were not competitive at all. You might want to say the Texas A&M game last year in College Station was one, and yeah, they were handled pretty easily by Texas A&M that night. But that was the first year, and they were going through growing pains and still trying to figure things out, I would say. So you kind of give them a pass. But now I think we've kind of hit the point here with Beamer and his coaching staff where the honeymoon is over, and people are going to now start being a little more critical about things and not so rah-rah unless there are some wins to come down the road with this football team. The good thing for South Carolina now is that they have played 2 of the top 10 teams in the country in Arkansas and Georgia, and they were handled soundly by both of those teams, handled pretty well. But now they get a little bit of a break with 2 more home games with Charlotte next week and then South Carolina State. So a chance to get a couple of wins on the board. That always makes you feel better, and get some guys healthy before they hit the road to play a very good Kentucky team up in Lexington, which might well be, if Kentucky doesn't stumble between now and then, a third top 10 team for the Gamecocks in the early part of the schedule. Look, you knew, looking at the schedule, that the first 4 SEC games were going to be extremely difficult. This Gamecock team could be an improved team over last year, but still might be 0-4 in SEC play when they get through these first 4 games. Still, the disappointment to the fans today that the team was just not competitive is something that's going to be hard for them to shake off moving forward here for a little while. Spencer Rattler did not have a good game once again. He, of course, was under duress quite a bit. His offensive line did not give him a lot of time to pass, and he was forced to backpedal quite a bit, throw off his back foot, roll out here and there. Had a couple of nice passes down the field, but nothing consistent. The offense just could not consistently put anything together. They did fake a punt that they converted to a first down, but that didn't lead to anything in terms of a score. So they tried whatever they could, but nothing really worked against this outstanding Georgia defense. So the Gamecocks lose it today 48-7 here in Columbia. Up on our website this afternoon, we've got post-game comments from Beamer and from some of the players. And Beamer will have his conference call tomorrow night, and we will have that covered for you here on the website, and then join you on Monday night to talk about it once again and get your thoughts on what do you take away from this Gamecock loss this afternoon to Georgia. That'll do it. Our coverage of the Gamecocks here this afternoon brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. Sports Talk at the stadium from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.